Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from SimpleProgrammer.com. Just finished my workout and I was just thinking about something which I'm going to do a review on two books here. And I'm listening to a book, an audio book, while I'm working out called How Not to Die. And well, you can check out the book here, but I'm going to do a review. It'll be coming. I also listened to the audio of a book called The Obesity Code, which I did do a review, which you can check out here. And these books are very much in contradiction to each other, very antagonist books, you could say. And I was thinking about it, and you know, I definitely have I had some opinions before I read either of these books. They're both pretty well-selling books in their categories, but they say some very contradictory things. They use science, they use studies to back it up, get totally different outcomes from them. But I was thinking about how, and I was resistant, actually, after reading the first one, to listening to the second one. I still am, and I'll explain this more when I actually get into the book review, which I'm not doing right now, but that's not the point. The point was really that I was resistant to the view, and then what I had to realize was that a lot of times, like, you need to be able to see both sides of it and the strongest argument on both sides and hold both of those viewpoints with an open mind and then make a decision about it, because if you can't do that, then you're not really going to be, you're just going to be swayed by one way. And there's always going to be biases, right? And even when something's well researched, even when people try to be unbiased, there's going to be different opinions. You can even have scientific papers, like I said, that point to totally different things. So it's important to do that, even though it's a little bit difficult to do, because when you do that, then you'll get a whole picture. And I could talk about this, you know, I could do a lot of, maybe I'll actually revisit this concept in another video, because it's such a critically important concept, and it's difficult. It's even difficult for me. You know, I do this all the time, but it's still difficult. I almost wanted to throw down this new book and say, oh, this is bullshit. This is not correct. You know, this is not right. Whatever. This is propaganda. And to some degree, this other book, How Not to Die, is full of a lot of propaganda. It is. But what I gained from it, and this is really the value. This is what I want to talk about today, is the value of looking for the intersection between two conflicting ideas. And so what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is this, and I'll talk about this more from a health perspective when I do a video on that, but that's not the concept I want to hit too hard right now. But if I look at those two books, okay, there's something in common between both of those books, which is basically that even though they're prescribing totally different diets, even though one book is all about really a vegan plant-based diet, and the other book is about more of a ketogenic fasting diet, right? That is meat-based, right? Or is high-fat diet, at least promoting that, especially for what they're saying cures diabetes, type 2 diabetes, or reduces it. Even though they have those totally different viewpoints, if I look for the overlap and the studies that they both cite, that they both back up, what does it tell me? What's the thing that I can get that's truth out of it? And in this particular case, it's real simple. It's eat whole unprocessed foods and a lot of vegetables, right? Either way, right, neither viewpoint is going to say not to do that, right? One of them might say don't ever eat any meat. Okay, that's fine. You know, we can take that with a grain of salt. And the other one might say, you know, eat lots of fat, or you know, or don't eat any fruit, or right? But I think both of them would say don't eat processed food, don't eat sugar, don't eat processed meats, don't eat, you know, all these processed carbohydrates or whatever it is, or anything that's processed. Eat as natural as possible, right? And so my point is not to make a diet video right now. Right? I mean, eventually I will, and I'll as I combine these things. But really, it's just to see that, look, had I just read one of these books, okay, and had I been resistant to the other one and not really opened my mind and not really saw both viewpoints, I might have just prescribed or subscribed to one viewpoint and one ideology, and I might have defended that staunchly, right? But because I was able to get both of these ideas, these conflicting ideas into my head, I was able to see the commonality, and I can draw something greater from it than just either one of those books alone. So I hope you get what I'm saying here, right? Again, I'm not trying to do a review on the books right now, and I'm not trying to give you some kind of nutritional advice right now. What I'm trying to do is try and tell you, look, if you really want to have critical thinking, if you really want to go and understand something and be able to sort through things, you've got to take the strongest argument on both sides. And you honestly got to take an open mind, and you got to read it, you got to absorb it. Now, you don't have to have critical thinking on everything, right? Not everything is important. Like I said before in that other video, you don't have to have an opinion on everything. In fact, most things you shouldn't. But something like your health and your diet, you probably should. So I think it makes a lot of sense for you to do that. And there's just a huge amount of benefits. And even as I was reading through the second book, the How Not to Die, my opinion sort of swayed a little bit, right? I mean, it was weird because I was so adamantly against it, and then I was like, well, wait a minute. So this guy's got some good points, actually. This kind of makes sense, and I start to, immediately when you first hear something that goes against what you think is correct, you assume a bad motive on the other person, right? You assume that they've got a bad motive and that they don't know what they're talking about. They either assume a bad motive or they're an idiot. And when you look a little bit further, right, and that's just your natural reaction, but when you look a little further, you might find that it's neither of those things. It's not a bad motive, it's not that they're an idiot, it's just that they've got a little bit of different data with a little bit of a different interpretation and a different viewpoint, and that there might be something that you can gain from that. So I try to take, oftentimes, as you'll see on this channel too, I try to take two very different and conflicting ideas, and I try to find the commonality between them. And you can often do that in life, right? In fact, if you're a person who can take conflicting ideas and you can find the commonality between two conflicting ideas, you're going to be able to find the true wisdom in that, right? You're going to be able to, you could take two things that are somewhat valuable on their own and have a synergistic effect by finding the commonality and finding what is a deeper wisdom in everything, because there's often a deeper cause. Like, often what people describe or what people find or discover is a shallow cause or a shallow explanation for a thing, but often deeper causes, just like a tree has many branches, and if you go down the tree and you find the root, it's all connected. A lot of things in life are like that. A lot of principles are like that. So anyway, if you like this video, if you haven't clicked that subscribe button, click the subscribe already, and click the bell to make sure you don't miss any videos. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.